My name's Chrissy Bonham. I've been involved with the Storying Sheffield project for about 2 years now. I have lived experience of a mental health condition and I continue to live with one. That's what really got me interested in Storying Sheffield. I developed this course along with KH, so we lead it together. It's a 5-week syllabus that we developed. It involves looking at the narrative a person has been telling themselves whilst they're ill, which they can become stuck in. So in our storying classes, we use techniques to try and draw them away from looking at stories about their mental health and to find other positive aspects of their personality that they can speak about. We take these techniques and we put these medical students in the place of a person who would be using it as a recovery technique.
The Narrative Masterclass we set up about 2 years ago when we realised that we didn't have many courses available for undergraduate students with interest in psychiatry.
I've been aware of the work of Brendan Stone and the Storying Sheffield project for a couple of years now, and when I took over as Director of Undergraduate Psychiatry I was very keen to involve undergraduate medical students in this as a project. For me, it offers an opportunity to put patients and clinicians on an equal footing, co-producing educational packages and programmes for our undergraduates. It'll be a fairly unique experience for the students to be learning alongside users of mental health services and to be being taught by people with lived experience of mental illness.
So the Storying Sheffield project began as a course for undergraduates doing a degree in English literature. But half the students on the course were people with a history of mental health problems from the city who had no connection with the university. Everybody studied together for a semester, went to the same lectures and learnt about the importance of narrative in the way in which human beings negotiate the world, ourselves, our identity and our health.
So we're hoping that this masterclass will encourage more undergraduates to study psychiatry during their medical school careers and go on possibly to work in psychiatry in the future.
My name's KH and I'm one of the leaders of the workshops. I'm a long-term mental health service user. I was very lucky to be able to take part in the Storying Sheffield on the second year that it ran, I think, and that was a fantastic experience for me. At the same time as I was doing that, I was in the process of establishing myself as a professional artist, and one of the things that I'm doing now is I run Drawing for Wellbeing workshops. My big focus is observation, and that's what I brought to the planning and the facilitating of these workshops.
So they gave us the opportunity to experience what mental health service users do in these Restoring Sheffield workshops. So each week we've experienced what they might have done in a workshop, but also the medical students specifically get to do some reading beforehand, read some articles and actually see the evidence behind it.
We look at the significance of place and memory and how it sort of links to form your identity. We then tell the students at the end of it that they will be making their own exhibition, which we'll be showing in the final week, which will be week 5, and they can use any medium at all that they want to just tell a narrative, a small narrative, a fragment from the life. So they might choose to do a film, they may choose to do a painting or a storyboard, or build something out of Lego. However they choose to tell their story.
I find art and creativity kind of a release anyway, so that's why it appealed to me, but it ended up being something I didn't expect it to be. It was really interesting. I didn't know about the evidence behind it and the idea of storying and restorying yourself as a type of recovery, which I thought was really interesting.
So for nearly 2 decades I was far too disabled usually to work, but actually because I survived I also realised as I did survive that I'd learnt a lot. So part of the kind of ethos behind the project is about valuing different types of knowledge. So the idea of bringing folk into the university who don't have academic qualifications usually, is that it shows students that there are different kinds of knowledge. There's that kind of traditional academic knowledge base, but also there's a kind of lived knowledge that's embedded in our bodies and in our feelings, which is incredibly valuable.
People make sense of the world through stories. So if you can understand how they're interpreting the world through stories, you have a much better way of reaching them.
I mean, there's some very senior people I know who work in mental health who are quite prepared to be open about their own difficulties, vulnerabilities, fears, anxieties. And to me, that makes them a better practitioner, without doubt.
We're hoping that we can reduce the stigma of mental health, that we can encourage people to go into working in psychiatry in future, and we want to increase awareness of our services and the people that use them.